Hello and welcome to This Explainer. I am so pumped you're here today because, well, we are tackling a massive, game-changing paradigm shift in the business world. We're looking right at the landscape of 2026, and honestly, a hard truth has emerged. Buying attention, it's effectively dead. Earning trust is the absolute new imperative. Credible visibility is your golden ticket now. You see, we're operating in an environment where the average consumer sees literally thousands of ads a day. They are actively filtering out automated messaging and dodging this endless, overwhelming flood of AI-generated content. You simply can't just buy your way into their hearts anymore. So we need to explore exactly how the most successful brands out there are actually earning their way in.
Okay, let's dive into this, because right here is the million-dollar question. Why do some businesses become the definitive industry leaders while others remain, well, entirely invisible? And that happens even when they have massive marketing budgets. It's an incredibly frustrating reality for so many executives and business owners. You spend thousands, maybe millions, trying to get noticed, but your message just completely gets lost in the noise. You look at your analytics, you check the search results, and you're just not dominating the way you know your expertise warrants. It's not a budget problem, folks. It is absolutely a strategy problem.
Which brings us to Section 1, the visibility challenge, the critical battle of buying attention versus earning trust.
So today's buyers are armed to the teeth against traditional marketing, right? They've got ad blockers, they've developed banner blindness. It's a fortress. When you rely solely on paid advertising, you're only getting fleeting visibility. The absolute second you stop paying, poof, you disappear. Plus, it carries much lower trust because consumers know you just bought that placement, and increasingly, it's just getting completely ignored. On the flip side, we have earned credibility, and this is exactly where we want to live. It provides long-term authority and relies heavily on third-party validation. Listen, when someone else says you're great, it carries 10 times the weight of you just standing there saying you're great.
Now, a huge chunk of that earned credibility comes down to thought leadership. Let's really break this down because it's a term that gets thrown around a lot, kind of like a buzzword. But what it actually means is creating consistent, educational content. Think along the lines of a deep dive white paper on supply chain trends or a highly researched industry blog, stuff that actively solves your audience's actual problems. The businesses that educate consistently, those are the ones people actually remember. And crucially, this is done instead of constantly selling. If literally every piece of content you put out is begging for a transaction, you are actively destroying your credibility.
So how do we actually pull this off? Let's move to Section 2, the 10 strategies. This right here is your complete blueprint for credibility.
To build this blueprint, you've got to start with third-party validation. That means earning media coverage from respected news outlets and building really strategic partnerships. Imagine, for a second, collaborating on joint research with a major university or a massive industry association. Their rock-solid reputation instantly strengthens yours. It's like magic. From there, amplify your voice by publishing your own thought leadership and creating high-quality educational video content. Seriously, let your audience actually see and hear your expertise instead of just skimming another generic sales page.
Now, what's really interesting here is this major supercharger for your entire business, digital PR. As a strategy, it seamlessly combines media outreach, brand storytelling, securing spots in key online publications, managing your reputation, and acquiring those incredibly valuable, high-quality backlinks. It doesn't just increase brand awareness, it literally speaks directly to search engine algorithms. Getting respected publications to write about you and link back to your website? That proves to the digital world that you are the real deal, which dramatically improves your search performance.
To support all of this, you need a rock-solid SEO foundation. You want to become the definitive answer when customers search, and you have to protect that foundation by investing heavily in reputation management. That means addressing reviews and clearing up any misinformation fast. Also, maintain strict consistency across all your platforms so customers recognize you instantly, whether they're scrolling YouTube or LinkedIn. Back your claims up with hard data, and perhaps most importantly, build relationships with journalists and experts way before you actually need a favor from them.
All right, moving on to Section 3, the pitfalls. These are the critical mistakes that are actively destroying visibility.
Okay, if you're focusing only on paid ads, you leave yourself incredibly vulnerable the exact moment budgets tighten up. Combine that with overly promotional content, and people will immediately tune you out, no question. Furthermore, chasing short-term trends or having inconsistent branding, that just confuses your audience and honestly makes you look desperate rather than authoritative. But the absolute biggest leak in the bucket? Ignoring your SEO and your reputation management. One single unaddressed bad review can literally sink 100 brilliant marketing campaigns.
Let's transition from theory to some hard results. Section 4, real business impact, and exactly why credibility wins.
Look, if you optimize for visibility alone, like just pouring cash into banner ads, sure, you get some attention and short-term spikes in traffic, but when you invest in credible visibility through those media partnerships, thought leadership, and digital PR we talked about, you get tangible, real-world business outcomes. You get way more qualified inquiries because the prospect already trusts you before they even pick up the phone. You earn sustained search rankings, significantly higher conversions, and an absolutely impenetrable reputation. Investing in authority consistently, year over year, absolutely crushes businesses that rely solely on buying their audience's attention.
Which brings us to Section 5, the future of trust. Here is how you dominate your market in 2026.
The crucial takeaway you need to remember is this. Visibility gets you noticed, but credibility gets you chosen. Think about that for a second. You can buy notice, you can force your way into someone's feed. But at the exact moment a customer is deciding who to actually partner with, who to buy from, or who to trust with their business, they choose credibility every single time.
So I want to leave you with this provocative thought. How will you build trust in 2026? Are you still relying on those old tactics? Or are you ready to become the undeniable go-to authority in your space? Take a really hard look at your strategy today and ask yourself if you're truly earning the right to be chosen. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. If you found this breakdown valuable, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our future deep dives into brand authority, digital PR, and reputation strategy. See you next time.